How did you get in trouble at school? Hitting a girl with a dodgeball during a dodgeball game. I wish I was kidding. In 6th grade, I decided to take books from the school library without checking them out. I always returned them, but I wanted to reread them over and over and did not want to deal with the return dates. I will admit it became a bit of an obsession and I did begin to enjoy the thrill of not getting caught. I would return them. But I started to have a bit of a stack in my room that I kept behind my dresser. It was shorter and diagonal in the corner, so there was room behind it to keep the books. Well, one day I came home from school to all the books on the kitchen table. Because my mom found them, my parents turned me in. We had to meet with the principal and they told me they would not press charges or anything. They could have, since it was $1,000 worth of school property, but since I turned myself in and there was no damage, they did not. Instead, I had 1 week of in-school suspension and I was required to work in the library after school for the rest of the year, stocking books, cleaning the desks and computers. I ended up loving it so much that I volunteered to do it for 7th and 8th grade before leaving for high school. Lol. My school had a strict hands-off policy, meaning you couldn't touch anyone else for any reason. I got in trouble in kindergarten for holding hands with my twin brother. 9th grade football, the coach called us a bunch of pusses, told him to eat it, told my father about it. He also thought it was funny. I wrote my name on the lunch table in middle school. Very stupid, especially since I didn't notice the teacher walk by as I wrote it. I got banned from sitting next to a friend at lunch because we emptied a plastic cup Jello onto his hand and he threw it across the lunchroom, and it hit a table and exploded all over like 4 people. Lol, my buddy and I were in 7th grade in 2011. I punched him in the balls at recess. I was an asshole, I know, and got sent to the office. I had after-school detention. The funniest part was, he didn't do anything. He just got punched in the balls and he got detention as well. We are still best friends 14 years later and joke about it to this day. We're both like, why the hell did you get sent to detention? You were just a victim of me being an absolute idiot. Had a gel pen tattoo parlor and took payment in cash and Pokemon cards. My little racket got shut down pretty quick. The Texas public education system hates small businesses. Algebra teacher yelled at me for asking for help. He told me, don't ask me. Ask your partner first. Then I turned around and asked my partner for help. He then yelled me at again, don't ask her. If you need help, ask me. I snapped my own ruler while showing a friend how bendy it was. Got detention for that one at age 8. When I was in 4th grade, I found a Playboy at a house that was being built in my neighborhood. I cut out the pictures and took them to school. During lunch, I was selling the pictures in the boys' bathroom. I got busted. The principal made me take the pictures with a note from the school home to my parents. They thought it was hilarious. In 6th grade, I was playing Fish Cheer from the Woodstock album. Give me an F, gimme a U, gimme a C, gimme a K on the playground during lunch. I got busted. That ultimately ended up with my being put in the most advanced class, and the next year going to an excellent private school where my mother was a teacher. I told my social geography teacher she was a moron for teaching the Filipino government was to blame for the Rana Plaza collapse. Refused to apologize, and was sent to detention. The teacher that was in detention sent me to lunch because he agreed with me. Set off a stink bomb I bought at some party supply store in the boys' locker room that caused the entire school building to be briefly evacuated. Caught a mouse and threw it into an active classroom. Made a miniature crossbow out of a ballpoint pen and rubber band that fired ink cartridges, then proceeded to lodge cartridges into ceiling tiles, walls, fellow students, etc. I accidentally farted in the middle of a silent test and everyone heard it. It was both embarrassing and hilarious. I skipped school. That was the official reason I was suspended. The short backstory. It was 1982. I was in 6th grade. My 2 best friends decided to go on a shooting spree at our school. They thought I'd be cool with this and came to my house to steal my stepdad's .357 Magnum. I played along while sneaking off to call the police. After quite a bit of bullshit of the police not believing me, they finally did. My friends and I were detained, arrested. So I was suspended from school because I stayed home and stopped 2 psychopaths from killing people. This was our actual defense in front of the school board to rescind the suspension, which they shortened, but would only remove if I stayed out of trouble for the next few years. I was an all-around good kid, but I once saw a kid get a 5 on a test. I told other kids about it. It got back to the kid and she told the teacher. Teacher sent a note home. My parents said I guess the kid shouldn't have gotten a 5 on the test. I got mad at the county IT guy, so I started volunteering to fix the issues at my school under the guidance of a teacher. Then I started going around to other schools fixing issues. Then someone at one of the schools thanks the BOE for the help finally. When the IT guy found out, he went on strike. and that's when I got in trouble. Apparently the guy had some plot armor and couldn't be fired. So before I started fixing things, he was showing up at work. After I started fixing things, and he found out, he was still getting paid, but he stayed home in his underwear eating Cheetos. I almost didn't graduate because the IT guy's cousin was the art teacher at my high school, and the art teacher accused me of plagiarizing some of my artwork. I got him back though. He called me a week after graduation, needing help setting up a photo negative scanner, and got him to admit it was a BS plagiarism thing. The principal about punched him out over it. I assaulted someone in lunch. There was a common occurrence of dumping salt packets in people's hair during middle school. Why, it was just funny. I got caught and had lunch detention for 3 days. I ended up eating lunch with the band kids in their band room, and they had a party one day. Ended up getting some cake. 1010 would assault again. I thought it was unfair boys could go to gym and girls had to do yoga. I wanted to do yoga, but it was still unfair to divide by gender. I argued for good 20 minutes with the teacher until she let girls and boys decide. All the boys went to gym and only one girl joined them. All the others wanted to do yoga. The teacher sent an angry mail to my mom. She only replied, she takes gender equality seriously. I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade. I told a joke that my grandpa shared with me the weekend before. How to Catch an Elephant by Grandpa Ben. I actually stood in front of the class to tell this gripping tale. Well, first you need to go to the jungle where there are elephants. When you get there, you cut down a large clearing. Then you dig a hole where those trees were. You fill the hole with those trees and burn them down to ash. Then you line the outside of the hole with peas and wait quietly. When the elephant comes to take a pee, you kick it in the ash hole. The class loved it. Old curmudgeon teacher did not, so I had to go to see Mr. Clinker.